Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling something really fundamental for, well, almost everyone who gets behind the wheel driving defensively.
That's right. And we're diving deep into Chapter 8 of the New York State Driver's Manual. It's all about defensive driving.
Right, and it lays out some incredibly practical strategies, stuff to help you anticipate problems, avoid crashes.
Even when other people mess up or the weather's bad or, your equipment fails.
Exactly. So our mission today is really to unpack the key ideas from this chapter.
Yeah, pull out the nuggets of knowledge, the stuff you can actually use to be a safer, more prepared driver, like a shortcut to getting that defensive mindset.
Okay, let's dive in then. What is defensive driving, according to the manual? Why is it so important?
Well, the source defines it pretty clearly. It's about preventing errors yourself, sure, but also avoiding a crash because someone else makes a mistake.
Or because of bad weather, or after your brakes fail, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's being proactive, not just reacting when something happens.
So being prepared, looking ahead, the manual talks about that,
Yeah.
right? Constantly scanning.
Yeah, constantly. Keep your eyes moving, look way down the road, check the sides, glance in your mirrors every few seconds. Don't just, stare at the car in front.
And it says something interesting about other drivers.
Ah, yes. This is key. It explicitly tells you to anticipate errors.
Like, assume they won't stop at a stop sign.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Don't assume anyone will do what they're supposed to do. It's safer to assume they might not.
Wow, okay. That definitely shifts how you think about driving. Less trusting, maybe.
More prepared, I'd say. Driving prepared for things to potentially go wrong.
Okay, so building on that, the manual gets into specific hazards. First up, driver distractions. We all know they're bad, but what does the source highlight?
Well, it defines distractions as anything taking your attention away. Visually, like eyes off the road.
Right.
Manually, hands off the wheel.
Yep.
Or mentally. Your mind just isn't on driving.
And they list specific things.
Oh, yeah. Cell phones, texting, obviously. But also arguments, stressful chats, eating, even kids or pets bouncing around if they're not secured.
And the bottom line is, it's on you, the driver.
Absolutely. The manual puts the responsibility squarely on you to pay attention and drive safely, period.
Okay. Now, what about aggressive driving? That's another big one.
It is. And the manual makes a really important distinction here between aggressive driving and actual road rage. They're not the same thing.
Okay, tell me more. This sounds important.
Yeah, so aggressive driving, that's stuff like speeding, tailgating, weaving through traffic, passing where you shouldn't.
Things that get your ticket, basically.
Traffic violations.
Exactly.
Mm.
But road rage. The manual describes that as an angry, hostile state that actually escalates. It becomes violent criminal action or attempts to commit violence. That's breaking criminal law.
Whoa. Okay, so what kind of actions we're talking about?
The source lists some scary stuff. Shouting, gestures, leaning on the horn, cutting people off deliberately, blocking, chasing.
Yeah, chasing, even deliberately hitting another car or getting out to attack someone. It's serious criminal behavior.
And the consequences reflect that, I assume.
Definitely. Fines, jail time, probation, losing your license. It's not just a traffic ticket anymore.
So what does the manual say to do if someone's directing that kind of aggression at you?
Good question. Key advice. Don't make eye contact. Stay calm. Try to get away safely. Change lanes. Let them pass.
Don't engage, basically.
Absolutely not. Never challenge them by speeding up yourself. Ignore the gestures, the shouting, and importantly, report them.
How do you do that safely?
If you can, note the vehicle description, plate number, location, which way they were going. Call 911 or the police when it's safe. The manual even suggests driving to a police station if you feel threatened.
And it also gives tips on not becoming that aggressive driver yourself.
Yes, which ties back to being defensive. Allow plenty of travel time. Don't drive if you're already angry or super tired. Make your car comfortable.
Like adjust the seat, the temperature.
Right. Sit back, relax a bit. Be polite. Be forgiving. This is a big one. Even if you technically have the right of way, be ready to give it up.
Yielding even when you don't have to.
Yeah. Is waiting a few seconds worse than getting into a crash? The manual says no.
Okay, another impairment. Drowsy and fatigued driving. The manual sounds pretty serious about this too.
Very serious. It says flat out. Driving and sleep don't mix. It affects your reaction time, your awareness, your judgment, just like drugs or alcohol.
What are the warning signs? How do you know if you're too tired?
The source lists quite a few.
Yeah.
Your eyes closing or going out of focus. Can't keep your head up. Yawning a lot.
Zoning out.
Yeah, wandering thoughts. Maybe you don't remember driving the last few miles. Drifting out of your lane, tailgating without realizing it, missing signs, hitting those rumble strips on the shoulder.
Yikes. Okay, who's most likely to experience this?
Several groups, people who just haven't slept enough, obviously. Anyone on a long trip without taking breaks.
Driving late at night.
Definitely. People on medication that causes drowsiness or who've had alcohol, driving alone can make it worse, or driving on long, boring roads.
Makes sense.
Frequent travelers, shift workers with weird schedules. And the manual specifically calls out young people.
Why young people?
Well, they tend to stay up later, maybe sleep less, but still drive, often at night. And people with undiagnosed sleep disorders, too, like sleep apnea.
So what can you do about it? Prevention first, I guess.
Exactly. Get enough sleep before you start a trip. If you can, drive with someone else and switch off. Schedule regular stops. The manual suggests every 100 miles or every 2 hours.
Avoid alcohol or meds that make you drowsy.
Right. And just, if you feel really sick or exhausted, don't drive. Simple as that. Oh, and wait about 15 minutes after you wake up before getting behind the wheel. Give your brain time to boot up.
Okay, but what if you're already driving and you start feeling tired?
Recognize those symptoms we talked about. And crucially, the manual warns not to rely on tricks like blasting the radio or opening the window.
They don't really work.
Not for long. They might perk you up for a minute, but the fatigue is still there. The only safe thing is to stop driving. Pull over somewhere safe.
Take a nap.
Yeah, a short nap, 15 to 45 minutes, can make a difference. Or caffeine can help, but remember, it takes about 30 minutes to actually kick in. So stop, have the coffee, then maybe take that short nap while you wait for it to work.
Okay, good practical advice. The manual also covers specific situations, like work zones. Those always feel stressful.
They are dangerous. And here's a detail. Fines for speeding in a work zone are doubled.
Doubled. Wow. Even if there are no workers actually present right then.
Even then, the potential for hazards is still high. You need to expect sudden speed changes, maybe lane shifts, workers, equipment. It's unpredictable.
So look for the orange signs.
Definitely. The orange diamond work zone signs and any flagger ahead signs. And remember, a flagger's instructions, they override signs and signals. You must obey the flagger.
What are the key tips for driving through them safely?
First, maybe consider a detour if one's available. If a lane is closing, merge early. Don't wait till the last second and try to cut in.
That causes backups, yeah.
Right. Slow down significantly. The manual gives an example. At 60 mph, you cover the length of a typical 1,500-foot work zone in just 17 seconds. Doesn't give you much time to react.
Keep your distance too, I bet.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Maintain at least that 2-second following distance. Rear-end crashes are apparently really common in work zones. And be aware, some work zones move. They're not always stationary.
Okay. What about roundabouts? Or rotaries, as they're sometimes called.
Yeah, becoming more common. They're designed to slow traffic down and reduce the severity of crashes. The main thing is yielding.
Yielding to who?
Look for the signs as you approach. Yield to pedestrians and cyclists, of course, but crucially, yield to any vehicles already circulating within the roundabout.
So wait for a gap.
Wait for a safe gap, then enter, moving counterclockwise. Stay in your lane as you go around, and use your right turn signal just before the exit you intend to take.
So people behind you know where you're going.
Exactly, and like any turn or lane change, check your blind spots before you actually exit.
Okay, moving beyond those specific situations, the manual covers some real safety basics. Speed, for instance. It's not just about the number on the sign.
Not always, no. I mean, the default limit in New York State is 55 miles per hour if there's no sign, or 25 in New York City, unless it's posted otherwise. That's the baseline.
Right.
But you can still get a ticket for going too fast for the conditions, even if you're under the speed limit.
Like driving 50 in thick fog.
Precisely. That might be considered unreasonable and unsafe. On the flip side, some highways have minimum speed limits. Driving too slow can be dangerous too, disrupting the flow.
Makes sense. Another basic. Space. Leaving enough room.
Absolutely critical. The manual says 4 out of every 10 crashes are rear-enders, often from tailgating.
Which brings us to the famous 2-second rule. How does that work again?
It's simple, really. You pick a fixed object ahead, like a sign or maybe a bridge overpass.
Okay.
When the car in front of you passes that object, you start counting. 1001, 1002, slowly.
Yeah, at a normal speaking pace. If the front of your car reaches that object before you finish saying 1002, you're too close. You need to back off.
And more than 2 seconds sometimes.
Definitely. The manual says increase it to 3, even 4 seconds in bad weather, fog, rain, snow. Or if you're following a big truck or motorcycle, gives you more time to react.
What if you're the one being tailgated? What's the defensive move?
If you can, move over to another lane safely. Or Find a safe place to pull over and just let them pass.
Just let him go.
Yeah. But importantly, the manual warns not to slam on your brakes or brake suddenly, just to teach them a lesson. Ah, right. That could cause a crash or escalate things. Road rage potential.
Exactly. And it's not just space in front. Leave yourself some escape room to the sides, too. Room to move left or right if you need to dodge something or pull over quickly.
Okay, this next section is huge. Seatbelts, child seats, airbags. New York takes this seriously, right? Primary enforcement.
Very seriously. Primary enforcement means a police officer can pull you over and ticket you just for not wearing a seatbelt. No other reason needed.
I'm fine.
Up to $50 for an adult. And it applies to everyone, visitors included.
What about kids? Who's responsible?
The driver is legally responsible for making sure passengers under 16 are properly buckled up.
If they're not.
Fines, again, $25 to $100, plus 3 points on your license for each violation. So if you have 2 unbuckled kids, that's potentially 6 points and a $200 fine.
Ouch. Okay, the rules for kids must be specific. What does the manual say?
Very specific. Under age 4, needs a federally approved safety seat, attached either by the car's seatbelt or that LATCH system.
LATCH, right. Those anchors built into newer cars.
Lower anchors and tethers for children, yeah. Simpler than using the belt sometimes. And kids under 4 must stay rear-facing until they're at least 2, or until they hit the weight or height limit for rear-facing set by the seat maker.
Okay, what about ages 4 to 7?
Usually a booster seat, an appropriate federally approved child restraint used with both the lap and shoulder belt.
Usually booster, you say?
Well, there's an exception. If a child in that age range is over 4'9" tall and weighs over 100 pounds, they can use just the vehicle's seatbelt, but only if it fits them correctly, lap belt low on the upper thighs, shoulder belt across the chest and shoulder.
And older kids, 8 to 15.
They must use a seatbelt. But again, the manual recommends keeping them in a booster if they're still under 4'9" or 100 pounds because the adult belt might not fit right yet.
Are there any exceptions to these rules?
A few. Certain emergency vehicles, really old cars made before '64, buses, generally though school buses might have district rules, rural mail carriers on duty, kids under 8 in taxis or liveries, and people with a certified medical reason.
For almost everyone else, buckle up.
Absolutely. The manual paints a stark picture. Unbelted people become projectiles in a crash, dangerous to themselves and everyone else inside. It even suggests locking doors and putting heavy stuff in the trunk, small defensive habits.
What about airbags? They worked with belts, right?
Yes, critical point. They supplement seatbelts, they don't replace them. They inflate super fast in moderate to severe front-end crashes.
How far back should you sit?
At least 10 inches between your chest and the airbag cover usually the center of the steering wheel or the dashboard for the passenger. And keep your hands at 9 and 3 on the wheel.
Not 10 and 2.
Not ideal if the airbag deploys. 9 and 3, or even lower like 8 and 4, keeps your arms out of the way.
And there's a huge warning about infants.
Huge. Bold letters in the manual. Never put an infant in a rear-facing child safety seat in the front seat if there's an active passenger airbag.
Why not?
The force of that deploying airbag hitting the back of the rear-facing seat is tremendous. It can cause severe injury or even death. Back seat is safest for kids.
Okay, final piece. Vehicle condition. This is part of defensive driving, too.
Definitely. You have the annual inspection, sure, but the manual stresses doing your own regular checks. Brakes, steering, lights, tires, glass, horn.
What kind of checks?
Practical things. If your brakes feel spongy or weird after driving through deep water, you can dry them by lightly pressing the pedal while driving slowly for a bit.
Steering.
Listen for noises. Check the power steering fluid if it feels stiff or makes whining sounds when you turn. Keep lights clean. Replace broken lenses. They can cause glare.
And tires.
Yeah.
The tread depth.
Crucial. Legally needs to be at least 230 seconds of an inch. Most tires have wear bars built in little raised bars in the grooves that become flush with the tread when it's worn down.
Or you can use a penny.
Yep, the penny test. Stick Abe Lincoln's head down into the tread groove. If you can see the top of his head, your tread is too worn. Time for new tires.
Don't forget tire pressure.
Absolutely. Check it regularly when the tires are cold. Keep windows clean inside and out. Make sure wipers work, washer fluid is full, defrosters too.
And the horn.
Make sure it works. Use it as a warning quick tap usually, not, leaning on it out of anger. That goes back to aggressive driving.
Wow, okay. So we've really dug deep into this chapter from the NYDMV manual. We've covered that whole defensive mindset scanning, anticipating.
Right, handling specific dangers like distractions, fatigue, aggressive drivers, road rage,
Navigating tricky spots like work zones and roundabouts.
and the absolute fundamentals. Speed management, space cushions, the 2-second rule.
Plus, all the details on seatbelts, child seats, airbags, and keeping your car in good shape.
Yeah, it's clear defensive driving isn't just one thing. It's a whole system. It needs constant awareness, being prepared, and taking responsibility.
Responsibility for your own safety, and others too, even if they mess up.
Exactly. Identifying risks before they turn into emergencies. That's the core of it.
This feels less like just learning rules and more like building life-saving habits, a different way of approaching driving entirely.
I think that's right. Understanding these principles gives you strategies, tools to avoid collisions.
Looking back at everything we discussed, what really stands out to you from this deep dive?
Maybe it's that idea of constant vigilance, but not in a stressful way.
Yeah.
More like engaged awareness. And that leads to a final thought maybe for you to consider.
Okay.
If you consciously practice these techniques, scanning, anticipating, managing space, how does that change not just your safety, but your whole experience of driving? Does it shift from being just a task, just getting from A to B?
Into something else.
Yeah, into a skill that requires, and maybe even rewards, continuous mindful effort. Is driving a chore, or is it a craft you're honing?
That's definitely something to think about next time you grab the keys. We hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights.